Greetings everyone, Dan here with a different kind of video than what I normally upload. As 2023 draws to a close, I found myself thinking about the games that I've played this year and thought it would be fun to recap the titles, maybe provide some brief thoughts about my experience. As this was the second year of the channel though, I suppose it would behoove me to discuss the channel's inaugural year in brief first, since I didn't do a year-end recap last year. It just never crossed my mind to do something like this. So on January 24th, 2022, I uploaded the channel's very first video, a playthrough of the challenging Newfoundland mission in XCOM Enemy Unknown. This video was mostly an experiment to see if I felt I was competent enough at this to upload full playthroughs. Was I brave enough? And I actually had a lot of fun recording the video. Decided I would give this YouTube thing a try. The thumbnail, however, is still the worst one I have ever done. I clearly had no idea what I was doing. I've been tempted to change it a few times so that it matches my current format, but I decided to leave it in place just for posterity. A week later, on January 31st, 2022, I uploaded the beginning of my very first playthrough, a TRPG called Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden, developed by the Swedish game studio The Bearded Ladies. I am so grateful to this game for being as great as it is. Had my first playthrough been a dud, I probably would not have continued doing this. I would have given up. But Mutant Year Zero looked great, beautiful setting. Robert Lundgren's score was wonderful. I enjoyed the mix of real-time exploration and stealth opportunities, followed by the turn-based tactical combat. And I especially enjoyed the characters, of course, led by Borman, the strong and honorable manswine, and Dux, the tough-talking waterfowl with a crossbow. The series ran for 26 episodes, concluding April 28th, 2022. I followed that with a game from a different genre, and even a different genre than the rest of its own wildly successful franchise, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite game franchises. I've completed every major release with the exception of Valhalla and Mirage, so I'm a little behind. I haven't played those yet. But I wanted my second playthrough on the channel to be a shorter experience than what one normally receives from Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed series. Those are huge games, and I just wanted a tighter, more focused experience. Chronicles is a trio of 2.5D side-scrollers set in China, India, and Russia. While I enjoyed Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, it is a niche game compared to the main series, and it just didn't draw much of an audience. As of this recording date, there are still some videos in that playthrough with single-digit views. But at least it was short. I completed it in just 11 episodes from May 2nd through June 8th of 2022. Running concurrently with Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and perhaps stealing some of the thunder from it, was my first playthrough of a brand new game that I was playing upon release along with many of you. That was really exciting for me. I felt like I was part of a community. On May 5th, 2022, I began my playthrough of Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Gate Daemonhunters. I really enjoy the Warhammer 40,000 setting. I've played through several of the video games on my PC, and I've also played the tabletop game. I still have lots of unpainted miniatures in my closet. I thought developer Complex Games did a great job adapting the tabletop game rules to a computer TRPG. The story went interesting places throughout this 52 episode series, which concluded on September 29th, 2022. It was the longest series on the channel at that time. And then October was upon us, and I thought it would be fun to play a horror game. I had a couple in my inventory, but decided to go with a game that I originally started on my PlayStation 3, but never ended up finishing. The original Dead Space from 2008. Holy smoke, what an intense game that is. And I'm so glad I went back and played it. I had a blast. I squirmed and jumped and flinched for 26 episodes from October 3rd through the finale on October 31st, Halloween. Yes, I did plan that. Then on November 3rd, 2022, I released the first episode of what I think was my biggest surprise of the year, Vampyr, or perhaps Vampyr. Released in 2018 by French developer Don't Nod, Vampyr puts you in the shoes of Jonathan Reed, a doctor returning to London from his harrowing experience on the battlefields of World War I. Within moments of the game's beginning, Dr. Reed is attacked by a vampire and turned into an undead bloodsucker. Jonathan becomes obsessed with finding the vampire who attacked him, but during his lengthy investigations, he must also contend with this new bloodthirsty nature. To develop Jonathan's vampiric powers so that he may more easily defeat his myriad enemies, there is an army of vampire hunters roaming the nighttime streets of London, after all. The player can choose to feed on the citizens of the various neighborhoods Jonathan explores. Doing so, however, will decrease the health of the region, creating the very real possibility that the streets will become infested with dangerous beasts. Conversely, Jonathan can choose to spare the citizens of his bloody appetite, even using his skills as a doctor to heal those suffering from a variety of ailments, though at the cost of remaining a less powerful vampire, which makes his journey that much more challenging. A couple of difficulty spikes during some boss battles gave me a bit of a fit, but beyond that, I really enjoyed this atmospheric third-person action RPG. The 46th and final episode of the series hit the channel February 16th, 2023, so really it belongs as much in the 2023 recap as it does 2020's. But before we transition to the current year, I need to mention one more game that I started playing in 2022. MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. This game is responsible for the largest amount of growth and attention this channel has received so far. Beginning with episode 6, I was joined in co-op gameplay by my friends Jeff and Scott, who gifted me a copy of the game. Thank you so very much for that, Scott. So together, the three of us have battled across dozens of planets and moons, earned millions of sea bills, and attended memorials for an unknown number of fallen pilots. Perhaps one day I'll go through every episode and create a log of every pilot we've lost in battle. But until then, our mercenary company's bagpipe player is just gonna have to be on standby. We continue to release episodes of MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We chat along with the viewers during the live premiere. We hope you'll join us if you haven't yet. And if you're one of those diehard attendees, thank you so much. You have really made the entire project worth it. So while that wraps the channel's 2022 activity, let's see what we got up to in 2023. Of course, the first order of business in 2023 was to finish Vampyr. Immediately following that, I celebrated the channel's first birthday with an homage to the first game I played by playing the DLC, or if you're my age, you would have called it an expansion pack before you could just download everything. The DLC to Mutant Year Zero, titled Seed of Evil. This was a great extension to the story of Road to Eden. A couple of loose ends were tied up, but it becomes very clear that there are more dangers in the zone. So if you liked Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden and like me, wanted more, Seed of Evil provided more of what I loved from that game while providing a new character to play and new enemy mutations to battle. Seed of Evil ran for 17 episodes, concluding on March 19th, 2023. I jumped back in history to 14th century France for my next playthrough of 2023 with A Plague Tale: Innocence. Released in May 2019 by French developer Asobo Studio, A Plague Tale: Innocence tells the story of two children, Amicia and her little brother Hugo, caught between the Black Plague and the French Inquisition. The player guides the kids through the French countryside using stealth, solving puzzles involving light and plague rats, and deploying Amicia's trusty sling to fend off enemies when all else has failed. And Hugo, seemingly a burden to Amicia, has a mysterious ability that makes him dangerous, but might also be the key to their survival. My playthrough ran 16 episodes from March 21st to April 8th, 2023. A Plague Tale: Innocence was a fun, focused third-person puzzler with a well-crafted setting and excellent voice performances. I, for one, look forward to playing the sequel, A Plague Tale: Requiem, sometime in the hopefully near future. On April 12th of this year, I returned to the tactical genre with Phantom Brigade, developed by Canadian indie studio Brace Yourself Games. Released in February of 2023, Phantom Brigade is a turn-based tactics game with an interesting twist. You're the commander of a unit of mechs defending your homeland from an invading army, using a mysterious device that allows the brigade to see 5 seconds into the future. You plot your mech squad's actions along a 5-second timeline, and then click play and watch as your squad and the enemy act simultaneously over that 5-second turn. It was a fascinating system and one that I personally have never seen before. I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. Limited battlefield maps though, and a skeletal narrative that left the player responsible for creating their own story really kept the game from excelling. And if you don't like the combat mechanic of the 5-second timeline, there's really not going to be a whole lot to draw a player in. But fortunately for me, I did very much enjoy the combat mechanics and spent more than 80 hours playing the campaign, liberating every single province in my homeland before retaking the capital from enemy forces in a grueling 2-part finale that concluded on July 12th of 2023. But also in May, I slowed my production of Phantom Brigade videos so that I could start my most anticipated game of the year, Miasma Chronicles. This TRPG was developed by the Bearded Ladies, same developer of Mutant Year Zero, and when I had heard that they were releasing a new game, I marked my calendar and I made a day one purchase, something I do not often do. I had a great time with Miasma Chronicles, right up until I encountered a devastating game-breaking bug. Fortunately, Bearded Ladies responded quickly and released a patch within 2 weeks, during which time I finished my Phantom Brigade playthrough. I was able to then return to Miasma Chronicles. I experienced no additional major bugs and had a great time with the game. It was everything I loved about Mutant Year Zero's gameplay, with some fun iterations involving the main character's Nintendo Power Glove and a variety of different abilities that you could use with it. And I always enjoy a good underdog chosen one story. Miasma Chronicles was 61 episodes long, the longest series at the time, concluding September 6th, 2023. And then I encountered the biggest surprise of my year. Now, I love zombies. They're my favorite horror monster, and I really enjoy games that put me in the shoes of a survivor during a zombie apocalypse. Left 4 Dead, Dead Island, Dead Rising, Dying Light, I love them all. When Days Gone was released in 2019, I was interested, but I had to wait for what I had hoped would be an inevitable PC release. Fortunately, we got that in 2021. So, wanting to establish a tradition of playing a horror game or a thriller during the autumn season after last October's run through Dead Space, I decided to launch Days Gone and plunge myself into what has become one of my favorite gaming experiences. As Biker Deacon St. John, voiced expertly by Sam Witwer, you ride the broken road of a post-apocalyptic Oregon, earning trust and favor from a number of survivor camps you encounter by bringing them food, keeping them safe from zombie-like enemies called Freakers, and from gangs of malevolent human enemies. Trade bounties and sell meat for camp credits to buy new weapons, and have the camp mechanic upgrade your motorcycle to be stronger, faster, allow you to ride farther before having to refuel. Your bike is your home on the road. It is critical that you keep that thing running. Use skill points to unlock abilities that allow you to repair your bike using scrap scavenged from derelict vehicles abandoned on the side of the road, power Deacon up with greater melee and ranged abilities, and earn even greater rewards for delivering food to camp kitchens. You guide Deacon along his journey of loss and redemption through a variety of biomes like a rainy forest, snowy mountains, dusty chaparral, marshy lakesides. I loved Days Gone so much that I started a New Game Plus immediately after the 83rd and final episode of my playthrough aired on December 17th, 2023, just a couple of days ago as of this recording. And that wraps 2023 for me. I am excited to see what the next year brings. I'm looking forward to Mafia Definitive Edition for my next playthrough. I would also like to give Other Side a try, a stylish TRPG by French developer Lightbulb Crew. God, I didn't realize how many games I've played by French studios until now. But what else is coming in 2024? Which older games will I catch up on? I have a lot to think about for the coming year, and while I ponder, I want to know what your favorite game was that you played this year. Let me know in the comments down below. It might give me some good ideas for the coming year. And that'll do it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed this little look back at the first 2 years of the channel, and I do hope you will continue to hang out with me for the 3rd year. Please like and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of each new episode of No Games for Old Men. Thank you again so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Did I get one? Defeat your first horde! Woo! Oh my gosh! That was crazy!
No games.